How did learning sign language to surprise my deaf girlfriend expose her darkest secret? My girlfriend Natasha told me about being deaf the second time we met, sitting across from each other at a coffee shop with her phone between us for the speech-to-text app. She explained she'd lost her hearing at age 7 from meningitis and learned to lip read so well that most people never realized she was deaf until conversations got complicated. The whole thing felt natural after the first awkward 10 minutes, and by our third date, I'd mostly forgotten about the hearing part because she was so good at navigating the hearing world. 3 months into dating, I met her family at a big Sunday dinner at her parents' house in Maryland. Her mom Linda, her dad Gregory, her older brother Callum, and her younger sister Iris were all deaf. The whole family communicating in this beautiful flowing sign language I couldn't understand at all. They were patient with me, writing notes on a whiteboard and typing on phones, but I felt completely left out watching them sign to each other. Natasha translated some things for me, but I could tell she was exhausted by the end of the night. On the drive home, she apologized for how tiring the dinner must have been for me, and I told her honestly it wasn't tiring, just frustrating that I couldn't be part of the conversations. That night, I started researching ASL classes and found a community college program that met Wednesday evenings and Saturday mornings. The instructor was a CODA, which I learned meant child of deaf adults, and she'd grown up signing before she could speak English. I enrolled without telling Natasha because I wanted it to be a surprise, imagining her face when I suddenly started signing at the next family dinner. The first class was humbling because my hands felt clumsy trying to form the shapes, and my brain couldn't process the grammar, which was completely different from English. But I kept showing up, practicing alphabet fingerspelling during my commute and watching ASL videos on YouTube before bed. Wednesday evenings became my secret project, telling Natasha I had a work thing or plans with friends while actually sitting in a classroom learning to sign. After 6 weeks, I could introduce myself and ask simple questions. My instructor, Delilah, was encouraging but honest, telling me it would take years to become truly fluent, but that Natasha would appreciate the effort even at my beginner level. By month 3, I could follow simple conversations if people signed slowly. Delilah suggested I start attending deaf events to practice in real situations, so I found a deaf coffee chat that met Friday mornings at a cafe downtown. I showed up terrified the first time, ordered my coffee and fumbling signs, and sat in the corner watching deaf people sign with this casual fluency I desperately wanted. A guy around my age named Isaiah noticed me struggling and came over, asking in slow signs if I was learning ASL. I signed back that my girlfriend was deaf, and I wanted to surprise her, and he smiled and introduced me to his friends. They were patient with my terrible signing, correcting my hand shapes and teaching me slang that Delilah never covered in class. Every Friday morning, I'd show up and spend an hour immersed in sign language. Natasha asked once why I was so tired on Friday mornings, and I blamed it on bad sleep while internally feeling guilty about the lie. But I told myself it was a good lie, a surprise that would make her happy when I finally revealed it, probably at her birthday dinner in 2 months when her whole family would be there. Month 4 of learning ASL, I was getting comfortable with basic conversations and could understand chunks of what I saw even when people signed at normal speed. Delilah introduced me to classifiers and directional verbs, the advanced grammar that made ASL its own complete language. I practiced constantly, signing to myself in the car and at home when Natasha wasn't around. She noticed my hands moving sometimes and asked what I was doing, and I'd make up something about a nervous habit. The lies were piling up, but I kept telling myself it was worth it for the eventual surprise. Friday coffee chats became the highlight of my week, and Isaiah invited me to a deaf game night at his apartment. I spent 3 hours playing Cards Against Humanity in ASL, laughing so hard when someone made a joke I actually understood. These deaf people had welcomed me into their community and were teaching me not just their language, but their way of seeing the world. Isaiah's roommate, a deaf woman named Piper, asked me about Natasha and seemed genuinely happy that I was learning for her. She said it was rare for hearing partners to put in this kind of effort. Month 5, and I was dreaming in sign language sometimes, my brain finally processing it as real language instead of just memorized gestures. Delilah said I was progressing faster than most students, probably because I was practicing outside class and immersing myself in the deaf community. Natasha's birthday was coming up in 3 weeks, and I'd planned the whole reveal. I'd signed to her family at dinner, surprising everyone with months of secret study. I imagined her parents' faces, Gregory and Linda watching me sign, realizing I'd committed to truly joining their world. I bought a new shirt for the dinner and practiced my introduction speech in front of my bathroom mirror, refining the hand shapes and facial expressions. Everything was perfect. The surprise was ready. Then Friday morning at the coffee chat, I saw Natasha walk in with another man, both of them signing to each other with the easy intimacy of people who'd known each other forever. My stomach dropped and I froze in my chair, watching them order coffee together at the counter. But what happened next changed everything. Full story is linked below or on my channel.